hip hop. We're hip hop. It's the hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop. Everything. Everything podcast. It's you. It's your boy Fifth. Aaron all nighter. Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop everything. Hip hop. Hip hop everything podcast.
Back at BK, NY, what am I? See us fuck these tunes up, hentai. But when I point sign language, stick your hands up. Double tapped after the symbol, hitting like a snare drum. They said the world is yours, so I ain't giving back the planet. In the stool, shadow boxing the moon like NASA planned it. They see my name listed, heart stops, rappers panic. Anxiety before the bars drop, after Xanax. Moses notorious with God when he smashed the granite. Now the prophet about to make it big off of crack commandments. That might call me to a better profession. Not a rapper stuck to bags like a delicatessen. A man beast in the field, King Nebuchadnezzar. Dig for groundwater, I work well under pressure. Now the bread elevated, I'm flying with J's. It's just 23 and me, but you can try to relate.
We're hip hop. We're hip hop. It's the hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop. Everything. Everything podcast. It's you. It's your boy Fifth. Aaron all nighter. Hip hop. Hip hop. Hip hop everything. Hip hop. Hip hop everything podcast. Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Aaron All Nighter.
It's your boy Fifth in the building.
What's good is Dtalyz.
Guest Dtalyz, the prophet. What's good, brother? How are you?
Chilling, man. Rainy day, but we're doing good, man.
Right?
Absolutely. So, for the people who don't know who you are, if they're living under a rock, because your name is on a shitload of fucking flyers online, okay? You're doing things. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
I am Dtalyz, the prophet. I'm from 401 Rhode Island. Currently living outside of Providence. I'm a hip hop artist and a visual artist too. And I represent Grind Mode, Full Blast Booking, Bars Over Bars, and my own William Dennis Foundation and Vision for Violet, my own nonprofits that I work with.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, word. So, how did you get into the music, and what inspired you to start rapping?
As a kid growing up, I grew up in Providence. I lived everywhere from Silver Lake, South Side, East Providence. I lived all over the state, but hip hop was everywhere. Graffiti really piqued my interest. Besides the beats, graffiti as a young kid, graffiti and dancing was like the first things. I don't know. I was obsessed with graffiti.
Word.
And then I started freestyling, battling young, and I stopped for a very long time. Took a little detour into knucklehead land. And then I started again really started in 2020. I was battling online and didn't know what was going to come of it, to be honest. I started a little, and then it led to a couple attempts at live battling. I got ducked a couple times at live battles. So, it was cool. It was still a cool experience. But then I linked with Grind Mode around that time. And I'm a family man. So how that is with time, I had to kind of pick, like, what am I going to spend my time doing? Like writing and rehearsing, and then for someone not to show up, or, music in the grind mode, the cipher experience kind of got me towards writing and doing that more than the battle and stuff.
How many different ciphers are you on with grind mode? I know grind mode's got like, I know they have different branches too. They have like the barbecue bars. They have like
Yeah,
different like call them like alleyways. Like how many different ciphers are you on with them?
I'm on. I think I've done about 40 with them.
Damn,
I
holy
think I've done
shit!
about 40 ciphers with them. I've done uh few featured ones like with featured artists, Copyright and Master Ace, Block McCloud, Diabolic. Um, I'm gonna forget. So my no disrespect to for who I'm forgetting. Mickey Fax, the one you guys played, that was in Brooklyn. And then they do a few series. Like we did a live one in Brooklyn not too long ago. At Secret Pour in DeKalb Ave in Brooklyn. So I've done about 40 with them.
That's crazy. Yo, so
Man.
how did you get to chill
I
and
was
hang out with
expecting to
Block
hear
McCloud?
like a lower number than 40.
40. I know. I was like, holy shit. Yo,
It's only been a few
how's
years
Block McCloud?
too.
How's Block McCloud as a person? You get to like talk to him and chop it up with him.
You know what's funny is like I was telling you guys like I'd spent a good amount of time away from hip hop, right? Not away from it, but like being like creatively. And the first event I was at, Block McCloud was at, and when I was still like freestyling a lot and doing that thing in like the early 2000s, I remember Block McCloud, but like I hadn't seen or any, I hadn't really been tuned in. I did my first cipher. I came off stage, and he was one of the first people I saw, and he was like, "Yo, hey, that was cool, man. That was dope." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then like it took me a little bit to realize I was like, "Oh, that's Block." That was him, full circle, I guess you call it. I do my first album a couple years later, and perform my first full night performing. He was there, and I did a cipher with him, so that was cool. But he was down to earth, man. He had a son that rapped. Uh, yeah, he was super chill dude, man. Like just he had a son that killed the same cipher that we were on. But yeah, the two times I had experiences with him in the building, he was a cool dude. Like very down to earth, chilling in the crowd, chilling. You know what I mean? Like kicking it, talking about music and just talking about like experiences, talking about what project he was working on. So
Yeah, that's
That's
dope.
dope. That's dope.
Now, you mentioned the live show out in Brooklyn.
yep.
Where are some of the places you performed as an artist from Rhode Island?
So um 2023, really 2024 is like my first. Once 2023 started with the album and all that, I've tried to keep performing at least a few times every month, but mostly been the East Coast. It's been New Hampshire, upstate New York, Canada. Well, it was like a reservation on the border of Canada, so it was like not anywhere really, but that's going too much into it. But Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, uh, Union City, New Jersey, Vineland, Southern New Jersey, uh, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. But mainly the Northeast. But like there's definitely plans to hit overseas at some point in the next year, and then get out to Colorado to go see the homie Gams, who's on the project with me. So we got some plans to leave our little Northeast corner, but.
Now, out of the Northeast corner and those states and locations, where was your favorite spot to perform?
Favorite spot to perform, I would say there's two. I had a great time performing at Alchemy in Providence, and then in Brooklyn. Performing in Brooklyn, I would say the KRS, opening up for KRS, like,
Oh damn.
and just there was, it was like, I don't know. Anytime I've ever performed, like I love the home team. I love Rhode Island. I love, like, if it's not Rhode Island, like, so far every city I've performed in has shown, a lot of love. But there's something about being in New York. I don't know what it is. Like the subways, the I feel like, it's like I gotta lock it in. I feel like I have to like always, like I don't ever want to have my worst show, I guess, be at New York. But like, yeah, being in Brooklyn in opening up for KRS, it was a big venue. Uh and it was a lot of dope artists there. Young Z was there, Craig G. There was like a lot of dope old school artists there too. So
That's
Yeah,
dope.
I'd say opening up a KRS-One is definitely something that you take to the grave with you. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's
Right.
definitely
man.
feat, bro. Like holy shit,
And
man.
in Brooklyn too.
For real,
Yeah,
for real.
that was bananas. That was crazy. Like,
So yo,
go ahead, brother. Sorry.
when you say no, my fault. When you say you taking it overseas, whereabouts overseas do you plan on going? Because I know certain.
London is my friend Kenny Mercer, who runs Full Blast Booking, which is a tour for the suicide prevention nonprofit. They've done a few tours in the UK the last 2 years, I believe. So that's a bucket list thing for me. But also, I would like France and Germany. I know are huge. And we've talked to some of the people that we work with musically out there. They're absolute hip hop heads out there, and so that's definitely like within the next year, 2 years is like that's the absolute like it's gonna happen. And just figuring it out, with the kids and all that, but it's definitely gonna happen. So
That's dope. That's good
Dope.
shit, man.
So how much music, ciphers aside, how many musical projects have released?
I have uh two full projects released right now as of. So you figure I started writing and recording really around 2020, 2023. I released Silver Lake with Dead Phones, who's my cousin, and we wrote it and recorded over the course of the year. Uh, and then we just released Godplex the musical with High Q producing it, and me and Gams the Lucky Bastard, and that was released through Omega Level Records. I think right now there's some still tapes and CDs, and there's some vinyl, but that was my first experience doing. I guess you'd call it like a planned production release with like scheduled releases and stuff like that. So that was a cool experience. There's two other group projects in the works right now with Two Face Media. I'm part of besides Grind Mode and Full Blast. I'm part of another collective called God Division, and we paired up with another group called Two Face Media, and we have a two-part project that's coming out. I've started also started another project with I've got right now. Right now, I've got like four that I'm working on right now. So I kind of took it slow, and now I just kind of jumped into full gear with that. But I have those two full projects that are released, and then collabs. I've done a bunch of collabs on other people's projects, and um one offs and two offs with artists, and then yeah, this next year coming up has been. I'm very hungry, so I'm trying to destroy everything this year. Work with different people. Uh, I'm like definitely back. We're talking about local stuff. Definitely want to work with a lot of people from Southern New England again too. Like get there's a lot of crazy artists out here that I want to work with. So that definitely need to get heard more. All of us. So
Or
There's a lot of talent
as
around here,
as
man. A
as
lot of
an
talent.
artist that you said you've been doing this since like forever, but taking it serious the last few years,
yeah.
accomplished so much in such a short time span in the last few years. Do you feel like, how can I put it? Do you feel like it's moving fast, or are you comfortable with the pace it's going?
Um. At first, at first last year, when I started to do the a lot more of the shows and the tours and in the the Shade 45 appearance and the you know, opening up for a lot of the artists. I I guess I got to a point where it was like, all right, I you know, at first I was like, I love this stuff, you know, and then it was like what was becoming more like, all right, now I got to try to organize a little more because it got not overwhelming, but it got more to like, all right, what do I want from this? You know, like this is obviously more than a hobby, but like what am I trying to achieve? And yeah, I'd say even early this last year, like I'd say midway through this the Godplex project, and I have a song where I talk about it too on there. Um, Moment of Grace on the Godplex album. Uh, you know, I'm working. I started working with as a peer of recovery specialist. I'm someone that's in recovery. You know, someone that tried to change my life after some long time of knucklehead stuff. Like I said before, my nonprofit stuff is working also with people mental health. I got a daughter who's blind. So at a certain point, I came to like, what am I trying to do with this music stuff? Like, do I even belong doing it? Like, you have those questions as artists. I'm sure you guys know. You're like,
Oh
what am
yeah.
I doing? Why am I doing this? And um, it was funny. I went on my first cruise ever with my wife in the spring, and we saw this artist, this comedian, Rob Delaney. I believe that's his name. And he mentioned something about how some of his peers had made it, right? Some of his peers he saw in the comic world make all this money, and he was doing things too, but he was like not understanding, I guess, really um why he wasn't, right? And I'm not saying that's where I'm at, like, why am I not? But I guess more so like what to do with this, the gift that you get. And
Right.
he made a statement like, God gives you these gifts, or whoever gives you these gifts, put it out there, give it to the people and just go from there. And I kind of like the way he said that. And pretty much since not that moment, but around that time, I've tried to stick to that. Like, hey, we got a short time on this earth. Like, try not to overthink it so much. Try to make the best decisions as possible, and make music that feels good, like to make, like take
Because
advantage of
that's
opportunities.
artists, that's always the biggest hurdle.
Yeah,
Finding out, okay, cool, I'm good at this. Now what? Now
yeah.
I do this. Where do I go with it? And making the time, putting in the consistency, putting in the work, and that's a big hurdle. So that's why I wanted to ask that. Now, you had mentioned your nonprofit. Now, your art not only gets your art out to the world, but it gives you opportunities to talk about that and explain that a little bit more.
So I mentioned Dead Phones, who's Dead Phones is my cousin. Like growing up, you know, that was my he's the same age as me, so hip hop, me and him kind of like, breakdancing together, graffiti, whatever it was. We kind of like always tackled that stuff together. As we were making this project, I was doing a lot of like, not yet. As I was doing Silver Lake, the first project, uh, I was doing a lot of like knock your head off stuff, right? And he's like, "Are you going to talk about where you were for the last 10 years, why you weren't making music, or why you never?" And I was like, trying to ignore it. And he's like, "Dude," he's like, "Talk about it." He's like, "I'm telling you." And I kind of ignored it. And then he gave me a beat, and it was like a beat with like he played the guitar on it. He had the ambulance and rain. I was like, all right, I get where you're going, bro. Like, so I talk. I have a song where I talk about my father's. I'm talking to my dad's grave, and sometimes we lose people, and we feel kind of fucked up about having anger towards people we lose, and it's weird. So I'm kind of just talking to my father, like what the fuck did you leave me with? But I love you, but what? So that kind of like spurred the idea, some ideas about working with mental health more, using possibly using the music to do something more with it. And I had met Kenny Mercer, and he does suicide prevention tours, and I started working with him around the time that album was released. And he's mentored me in the last 2 years or so about working with mental health, and I eventually started my own nonprofit. And I don't do as much with it, um, you know, as I say I'd like to, but I still time I can, I'll use it to represent what I'm doing. Like we did a hip hop for the homeless, or my daughter's blind, so we'll do. We did a walk for the blind using uh, William Dennis, or Vision for Violet, which is the, I guess you call it, branch of it. So yeah, seeing the what Kenny did, Kenny gets a lot of these uh, legend artists from back in the day, and even some new school boom bap artists, and you know, and the messages like, hey, especially as men, like we don't talk about shit, bro. It is what it is. We suck it up, and I'm probably the worst culprit. I almost killed myself last year working. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just bite the bullet and talk about it. So at those events, I try my best to talk about it a little bit. And after shows, people would come up to me and doing that. The song's called Hey Pops. And in the song, I'm talking to my father's ghost, and I talk about, violence. I talk about incarceration, talk about suicide attempts, addiction. And after the show, people would come up to me and be like, yo, of all walks of life too, from the most gangster whatever to just a lady sitting in the corner with her husband not even there for the show, like you. And my wife was like, yo, like maybe you should do this as more of a thing. And she was right. And that journey, it's still building up, but kind of took a life of its own. And I can't say that it's this amazing thing going right now, but it is moving, and it is an opportunity to at least, connect to people, and have been able to help some people out. And it changed the career I do. I'm like, I was working in a tool shop before, and now I'm as a peer coach. So it definitely like started to move into my regular life, I guess you call it regular life. It's but like outside of hip hop. But
yeah, so I love what you're doing, brother. You're doing a lot, and you've worked with so many people. A lot of artists have a problem working with others. How do you get over the hurdles of different work ethics with all of the collaborations you have under your belt?
I'd have to say that I can be guilty sometimes of I feel like I'm either I can turn a verse around in an hour, or I'm like, you got to remind me. And I've been on both ends of that. I guess it's communication. What are you expecting out of this? If a lot of us, especially collabing to put music out, we're not working with labels. I mean, sometimes, but like a lot of times we're putting music out for the love. So I think sometimes getting a clear communication, like a lot of times I'll straight up ask, I'll be like, hey, when do you want this for? Like, give me a date. Um, and please feel free to remind me, because you know how it happens. You start collabs with people sometimes, and they sit on the shelf. So I guess a lot of times it's that clear communication. Like, what is expected out of this? When's the deadline? What do you need from this? What do you need from me? And something I'm learning more is just being honest. Sometimes if your plate's too stacked, or give like, hey, I could probably get to this in 2 weeks, instead of just saying, oh, I'll have it right away. Or,
I'm the worst
sometimes,
offender for that, man. I'm the worst offender for that. Yeah,
yeah.
so many people want to do collabs with me, and I'm like, and at that moment, I'm like, yo, I'm hyped. I'm like, I'm ready. I'll get it. And then, like you, I got a family, I got a full-time job, and I do music at my house. I have a home studio here, so like I have access to a studio at my whim. And sometimes, like I have collabs right now from 6 months ago that I feel bad for the people. I'm like, fuck, man. Like in the like I'd say the same thing. I'm like, please just feel free to remind me. I got a lot going on sometimes. Sometimes it slips out my mind, or what I mean, just getting those zones. Sometimes you just forget. I'm like, fuck, man. Sorry.
You don't mean anything by it, and it's not.
Life starts life, and
It
Yeah.
happens, man. You go sit down to record, and someone's like, hey, did you check the oil under my car, or whatever it is? And it's like, oh shit. You're
Yep.
sitting down to write, and then something, it's like it
Life
happens,
happens. Yep. It's
But
tough, man. It's tough. I can imagine with you having you have a kid, so
Yeah.
you have a wife. You said you have
Yeah.
a nonprofit organization. You do music. You have a job outside of that too. Like that's a lot to rotate. That's a lot on your plate to rotate and keep
Yeah.
everyone feeling like you're invested with them at that time. 'Cause you know what I mean? Like
I
that's
have a very patient wife.
thank God.
My wife is the one who really got me going with the music thing, because in a lot of I have like men that I work with that in sobriety, and something I tell them is you have to have something in life besides work and home. And
Mhm.
my wife, I had like 3 or 4 years of sobriety under my belt. I'd stayed out of trouble. And my wife could tell. She was like, "You need something, dude." And in my head, I'm thinking like, I don't know. I don't know. And then the only thing I could think of that I liked through all the shit in life was hip hop. And I was like, nobody wants to hear me. So I downloaded some app called Battle Me. But like when I was younger, I wore a shirt that said Battle Me on it to parties. Like when everyone was rapping over beats in, like, 2001, 2002, whenever it was, I would like wear a shirt to parties to battle people. So I go through these apps on my phone, and I see Battle Me, and I was like, there's the one. Now the app itself was okay. It was cool. It was a weird format, but it was just a spark. I just needed something, man, to just, those first few things I put out, if they're still out there, they're probably terrible, but you know, they're probably really bad, but it it was, I needed something, man. Then I started battling on Discord, like Discord had a bunch of battle leagues like 2019, 2020, and we did a few live battles like that, and then yeah, did the grind mode. Grind mode kind of got me meeting Lingo, AOK, Trip, and all those guys got me like motivated to keep it with writing and
Those
recording.
boys got motion, man. Those boys got a lot of
Yeah,
motion going on, man. They're
yeah.
fucking. Are there any other like outside of Grimo? Is there any other like people you're facilitated with like that are an organization within themselves?
So I definitely, you guys mentioned earlier, bars over bars. They
But
they
Was that Hero the MC?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know Hero he was on some ciphers. Um I uh I was I'd say it was the winter time, and Bo Dizzle was like, "Yo, there's an open mic in Providence." Slitty was doing an open mic.
Yep.
Slitty from Rhode Island, and
I know him.
so I went with Dizzle, and besides grind mode, I had I had still starting to venture out more. Like I had been out of touch with stuff for so long, so I got to meet a bunch of. I met J Rem, who does a lot of the shows for Bars Over Bars. I met Antoine Davis, King Handsome. Whoa, shout out King Handsome. He's
Whoa.
such a cool dude, bro.
There he is.
That dude. The first night I performed there, I performed a song about police brutality. I had a song that was murdered by police, and we talked for a while that night, and he's been like, a really cool supporter for this whole time, and so I met a lot of cool people there, and JREM was one, and through that I started to do some bars over bar shows, and those are always cool events, man. The vibe there is such a, you know. So yeah, bars over bars, grind mode, and also Halloween 222 is doing a show at FET, and you know, Bo Dizzle's been a little networking guy there, like plugging me into some of these spots too. But grind mode and full blast were definitely catalyst for it as well.
Absolutely.
dope. So what's on your plate in the next 6 months?
Next 6 months, I've got the group collab coming out soon, but within, and then me and Lingo and a bunch of the grind mode guys, for over the course of a year, we hit the studio up pretty hard. We'd get in, he'd make a beat on the spot, we record, and we did it a lot. So he's got a lot of that music dropping. over the next 6 months to a year. And I'm starting, so I'm still doing collab work in projects that are in the works and going to get released. Probably a Godplex 2, I'd say, within the year. But solo stuff it starts again pretty much. Like, I have some solo work done, but you know how it is. Like, you listen to an old song and you just want new stuff. You know, you want new beats all the time. You know.
Bro, it's the worst. That's like the worst thing as artists for us is like what we've done before. I can top that. I can do better. That's old, but it's new to someone who hasn't heard it. You know what I mean?
It
I'm
is.
the same way.
You are. You're right though.
Bro, I got a computer.
I
I'm
just
the
got
worst.
over that hurdle. I just got over that. I was watching an interview with Russ actually, and Russ was like, "Yo, just drop that." He was like, "Just drop it." He was like, "That's what I did for a year." He was like, "I dropped a new song every week." He was like, "Some of them I didn't like anymore." He goes, "There's some of them I don't even listen to anymore." He goes, "Somebody likes it."
It's true.
And
I mean,
I was like, "Hey."
There's a song that I perform, and I honestly, I'll perform it, and I'm a knucklehead for it because people will be like, "Yo, where can I find that song?" And I'm like, because when I listen to it in the car when I'm rehearsing, I'm like, I don't want to put that song out. But then, like, I don't know, it happens, man. Yeah.
Bro,
But
that's
yeah, the next 6 months, and with, I don't know if it's gonna happen within exactly 6 months, but I'm gonna start planning a tour. Um, for myself. I'm not sure what, like, who I'm going to add on to it or what, but you know, you guys are very entrepreneurial, or you're motivated. So you get a lot of this stuff. You got to push yourself through. And I know you
absolutely
guys get it. You guys get it. I want to, like, just uh start hitting up fam that I've collabed with in other states and set up a tour that way. I've seen a few people do it that way, and this next year is going to be a lot of that, of setting up tours that way. Still plugging with the people I've been working with, but I'd say for the next 6 months, that's probably going to be one of my main goals and focuses, is getting a tour started, and just trying to figure out how to execute that with financially making the most out of it. Not money, but, like, you know,
making it.
going to a state and making sure I can hit a bunch of spots, and or go to one spot and try to be able to hit as many areas, and you know,
Facts.
absolutely. You
Well,
gotta make it work. You
brother,
gotta make it work for yourself.
we appreciate you having you on. Wish we could
no, I
have you on,
appreciate you guys.
but we got the show coming up at 6, and we're gonna chop this up. So you're gonna find clips of this all over the place. It's gonna be chopped into clips, have captions, all of that. That way you can put it on your social medias. I'll send it to you. And yo, you're doing a lot, brother. You
Yeah.
got so much on your plate. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yo, you too, man. You too, bro. Dude, yeah. I look on your page. I was looking at your page the other day, and I was like, man, this dude's on point with the posting on your social media. It was like, man, I got to get back to posting like that, bro. You
Yeah.
too, Fifth. I was looking at your page too. You guys definitely, I know it's very important to be consistent with that.
I'm
So
not consistent like this man over here,
no,
bro.
I know, but
This man is on
yeah,
another level, bro. I can't.
yeah,
I
I
don't have
couldn't
enough
believe
time in
how.
the day.
I was like, this is still the same hour. Like, what is going on? I'm looking,
Yeah.
like, you're looking down the page and it's like 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. I was like, oh my
The
Lord.
best gem I could give is
Yeah.
scheduling posts.
Yeah.
Just do the scheduling post. You can bang it out.
Yeah. AOK is big on that. So I know you're right with that, man.
That's where you can get the most bang for your buck. I have posts going on at 3 o'clock in the morning while I'm sleeping.
It's beautiful.
So the social media wheel has to stay. I look at it like the Wheel of Fortune. Well, no, Price is Right, where it has that wheel with all the numbers.
Yeah.
Somebody still has to see something. So if you fill up more spots on that wheel, you're always going to be seen.
That's fire. That's some
Always
bars.
rhythm.
That is true.
But appreciate you, brother. We definitely got to do this more. Definitely, let's work.
Absolutely.
Tell people where they can find you.
The way my name is spelled, Dtalyz the Prophet, everywhere on Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. It's the way my name is spelled here. Dtalyz the Prophet, as in money profit. But yeah. And Grind Mode Cypher has been awesome. I have a playlist on their page too. of a bunch of videos and the Punchline Academy, Shade 45 freestyles on there too. So I'm on there. I'm all over their page too. So appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah, brother. Much love and respect. Salute.
All right, bro. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Hip hop. It's the hip hop. Hip hop. Everything podcast. It's you. It's your boy Fifth.
Aaron all nighter. Hip hop.
Hip hop everything podcast.
It's GM, E, Becker, BK, NY, what am I? See us fuck these tunes up, hentai. But when I coin sign language, stick your hands up. Double tapped after the symbol, hitting like a snare drum. They said the world is yours, so I ain't giving back the planet. In the stool, shadow boxing the moon like NASA planned it. They see my name listed, heart stops, rappers panic. Anxiety before the bars drop, half his antics. Moses notorious with God when he smashed the granite. Now the prophet about to make it big off of crack commandments. The mic call me to a better profession. Not a rapper stuck to bags like a delicatessen. A man beast in the field, King Nebuchadnezzar. Dig for groundwater, I work well under pressure. Now the bread elevated, I'm flying with J's. It's just 23 and me, but you can try to relate.
Hip hop. It's the hip hop. Everything podcast. It's your boy Fifth.